Bedtime story.
Hi kids! For today's book, we are going to read The Emperor Lays an Egg by Brenda Guiberson, illustrated by Joanne Paley. If you have this book, grab it and let's start reading. The Emperor Lays an Egg by Brenda Z. Guiberson, illustrated by Joanne Paley. In late May, as an icy winter wind blows across Antarctica, a mother emperor penguin lays an egg. Plop! To keep the egg from freezing, she catches it on her feet and covers it with a flap of skin. Then, shuffle, shuffle, scoop! The father uses his beak to quickly move the egg to its own feet. He cuddles it against the bare spot on his fat body. Tucked into his broad pouch, the egg is safe and warm. The mother has not eaten for the 6 weeks since the penguins arrived at the breeding ground or rookery. She is exhausted and hungry, but all around her, the surface of the ocean has frozen into thick ice. To find something to eat, she must travel 90 miles to the open sea. With his small, stiff wings, the emperor cannot fly, so she waddles in a line with other mothers at less than 1 mile an hour. Waddle, waddle. In the cold darkness, she climbs up a bumpy slope and struggles around a long, jagged crack. Finally, she sees a field of slick ice and toboggans on her white belly to speed up the 4-day trip. Whoosh, whoosh. All the other wild creatures have left the Antarctic. The wind is too cold and the sun does not shine during the long, dark months of winter. But the father emperor stays behind with thousands of other fathers. Each of them takes care of an egg, but none of them have a nest. Instead, they walk carefully, shuffle, shuffle, while they balance their eggs on their feet. It is such a strong instinct that one emperor who doesn't have an egg shuffles around with a chunk of ice around the size of a softball. To save his energy during the first 20 days, the father stands as still as a fire hydrant on a very same spot of ice. His 80-pound body is covered with carved feathers and a thick layer of blubber to keep him warm. There is nothing to eat, but he gets some energy as his body begins to use the blubber. Howl, whoosh! The cold wind blows snow against his tough feathers. As the snow swirls through the air, he drinks a mouthful. Scratch! Woo! Now the wind blasts like a hurricane. It is cold enough to crack teeth and freeze water in the air. The emperor can no longer stay warm by himself. Thousands of penguins with eggs on their feet huddle together. The father is at the back of the group where there is too much wind. Shuffle, shuffle. He moves slowly around to the front for better shelter. Soon, other birds move up to take his place. The temperature is minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but each emperor and his egg get a turn to warm up in a group. In spite of the careful shuffling, a few eggs break. But the father's eggs stay safe and remarkably warm at 98 degrees Fahrenheit. In July, in the middle of the worst winter blizzard, the emperor's egg is ready to hatch. Chip, chip, crack. Out pops a bedraggled gray chick. The father lets the baby peek out while he cleans up the shell. But then he tucks the baby right back under. In the coldest, windiest, driest place on earth, the father has taken care of the egg for 65 days. He is running out of energy. In his throat, he can make only a small amount of a nutritious liquid called penguin's milk to spit up for the baby. When the tiny emperor is still on his feet, the father waits and waits for the mother to return. After another cold week, the father finally hears the trumpet song of his mate. Doo-doo-doo! And the frigid darkness, the mother waddles back from the sea with the food for the baby. The father lets the tiny emperor out onto the ice. It is a dangerous moment. In just 2 minutes of exposure, the baby can freeze to death. Whoosh, whoosh. The chick shivers in the wind. But the mother scoops it up quickly and covers it with a warm fluff of skin. The chick reaches into her throat to gobble the meal of fish and squid that she has spit up. She toddles to the baby, and the baby whistles back as they learn each other's songs. Now the father gets a vacation. He has not eaten for 115 days and has lost half of his body weight. He is thin and dirty when he finally leaves the baby to walk across the ice. After the storm, so much of the sea is frozen that it takes him 2 weeks to find an opening. When he reaches the edge of the ice, he waits to dive in. Gurgle, swish! The water is churning. Snap! A leopard seal hunts for a meal of penguin. When it is safe, the father lifts up the ice with the other hungry fathers. Splish, splash! Now the emperor's wings work like a powerful flippers and he swims like a torpedo. Gulp, gulp, gulp! He gobbles up fish and tiny shrimp-like creatures called krill. Then he takes an incredible 1,000-foot dive to find the squid that swim deep into the sea. After 3 weeks of eating, he has built up a new layer of blubber. Splat! He leaps out of the water and lands with a belly plop on the ice. He uses his beak to preen his feathers and then waddles towards the rockery with food for the baby. Now the parents take turns caring for the chick. One parent keeps the baby warm while the other travels to the sea. Crack, crack. The ice in the rockery is stable, but all around it, the frozen ocean shifts, splits, and refreezes. The emperors jump over crevices and climb slippery slopes to reach the water. As they travel back and forth, every meal they carry in their crops must be huge, as much as 7 pounds of food. In 5 months of feeding the chick, they are able to return with only 14 meals. In August, the red sun returns to shimmer across the ice and warm the air. As the days lighten and the long winter comes to an end, the chick grows too large to sit on his parents' feet. It is time to leave the pouch, build up some muscles, and learn to waddle and toboggan. The chick stands close to a parent for warmth or huddles in a group with other chicks. All around the rockery, fluffy gray babies try out their sharp claws on the ice. A few of them wander off by themselves and are not able to survive a late spring storm. When the short summer begins, seals, seabirds, and whales return to raise their babies. There is plenty to eat since the sun shining into the water. It starts a population explosion of algae, krill, and fish. The emperor parents spend more and more time in the water. By December, the 3-foot-tall chick is on its own, but is still unable to get food for itself. First, the baby needs a new coat. Fluffy gray down falls out as black and white feathers grow in. With its waterproof feathers in place, the chick is ready for the ocean. The ice is breaking up and the young penguins find the open water all by themselves. Splash, splash, splash. One after another, they dive from a great icy cliff into the sea. The mother and father fatten up again during the short summer, but their feathers have taken a beating. In February, as the embers sit on a floating chunk of sea ice, they lose the old feathers and grow new ones. Packed tightly together like tiny roof tiles, there are 80 waterproof feathers on 1 square inch. During this month, penguins cannot survive in the water, so they spend several more weeks without a bite to eat. Patiently, they wait for the shiny, oily new feathers that will protect them from the bitter cold. By early April, the temperature of the autumn air is already down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit and the ocean begins to freeze quickly. As other creatures head north, the mother and father emperors waddle south. To-do, too! In the rookery, they trumpet and bow their heads along with thousands of other chattering penguins. The young chicks need 6 years to grow up, but the older birds are ready to mate. They are fat and feathered, ready for winter in the Antarctic, the icicle season when the emperors lay their eggs. The end. I hope that you guys like it. And if you like to listen to more books, tune in and don't forget to subscribe. And thank you guys for watching and listening. See you next time.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.